Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Weekly Options. Welcome to the channel. It is Sunday evening, and I thought I'd put together another video of what I'm looking at for this coming week. The S&P 500 ES futures is open right now, and we're just kind of looking at the 3-minute chart here. Action's well underway, and right now ES futures are up 0.13%. But I just wanted to touch on a few charts that I'm looking at this week. Um, as you know, last week I posted a video, I believe it was on Friday, where I showed a day trade that I placed in the S&P 500, and I can link to that somewhere over in this corner. But essentially, I traded SPX all day on Friday, kind of entering puts here, exiting puts, entering calls here, and exiting. It was a nice day trade. And if you haven't watched that video, you can go to the link that I'll put here and you can watch the video. This coming week, I'm going to be watching SPX. I do think that the area of least resistance, I think, is up. I do think that at least until, midweek, we should be trending higher on the S&P 500. And I'm going to attempt to play that through calls on the SPX and probably just look to maybe day trade some light positions in SPX and maybe swing trade overnight if need be. But I'll be watching the price action and I'll be prepared to go long with calls or short with puts as the action dictates. But this is the 15-minute chart here. We have the 100-period linear regression curve sloping up and to the right, which is a positive trend. The 4-hour chart here also looks pretty positive. We've got a little bit of positive price migration, really all through the month of August and going into September. So I think this looks favorable for some day trades, and I'll see what I can do as far as day trading SPX calls this week. This is the Ethereum uh, chart, and I have a line here, and this line is pretty interesting. As you know, we had this big gap up, and I think a lot of people went long and got trapped up here, and we've been kind of coming down since then. And we can see the 200 period moving average, the 50 period moving average, and the 21. It's all kind of bunched up here, and I think personally that price is going to go back up, and I'll show you what I mean. If you zoom all the way out, and let's just see if I can do this. There we go. So we have a couple peaks here, and going back to around March of last year, we touched this area of resistance and we bounced down. We came up and retouched the area of resistance again here in May, was rejected again, came back up, and we again approached this area of resistance here in December of 2024 and was rejected pretty hard. And then we came back here in August and actually had that nice, good push above this area of resistance. And so this area of resistance is now, I think, support. So what I anticipate happening is that price might come back down and test this, and it will probably, I think, prove to be support in this case, and then we kind of continue northward. As you can see here, we've got some good positive price migration here, and we've had an increase in price. We had a little bit of corrective activity, increase in price, a little bit of corrective activity, increase in price above that previous area of resistance. We're going to see some maybe corrective activity here, and I think we're going to be able to push further north. I'm expressing that view through EHTA. I am in this position right now, and like I said, I do think that we are going to be able to head further north there. I did purchase some calls right at about this point here, and I'm going to be watching it very closely. I will follow my risk management protocol, but if we can turn around here, then I think that this can be potentially a good trade. Next, we'll go to gold. And as you might know, I posted a video on a large kind of a position trade or swing trade in gold dating back to February of this year of me buying and selling different positions and finally closing it out here for a very large profit. And I'll link to that video here. If you haven't seen it, please go watch that video. But I closed out my position in gold just recently. I think it was around Thursday of last week. I had a lot of profits tied up in that, and I wanted to take some risk off going into the weekend. I did open up a new position in GDX. This is the 4-hour chart of GDX. And I purchased some calls right here, and those are already doing quite well, and we'll see if GDX can continue further north. But I like what I see here. The 100-period linear regression channel is sloping up and to the right, and we're staying well within that channel. We've got all the moving averages sloping northward, and that's on the 4-hour chart. When I come down to the 15-minute chart, I also see the same good price action. And so you can see this is where I got my long calls, and we gapped up and we're doing well, and we might continue to go north. So I like that trade. I think GDX is a good trade. I'll be looking at that this week to stay in that name and just follow the trend. I've got to tell you about Land Bridge. This was just a loser for me. I made a post on Twitter about it when I got out, and it just didn't work for a couple reasons. And I'll just be honest. Um, I came across this stock through a recommendation on a particular newsletter. That's how it got on my watch list. It didn't get on my watch list due to my own industry, meaning my scanners that I've made didn't pick this up. It was a recommendation and it looked good. And I said, oh, okay, well, maybe this is due for a bounce. And I got in really trying to pick the bottom. This is just poor management on my part. It happens. And, we work every day on the psychology and mindset of trading. And really, every time I've traded somebody else's recommendation, or anytime a stock has come across my crosshairs as a result of something other than me just scanning on my own and coming upon the stock organically, it's always just kind of been a loser. And after I came in here, and this has been like almost a month, it's just kind of chopped around and done absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, Theta's been eating away at my position. And so I exited this, and I believe I exited that on, I think it was Friday, because I just wanted to redeem that space of my brain for other positive things. And I wanted to redeem my capital out of this trade so I could deploy it into other good areas next week. So Land Bridge didn't work out. This was kind of a lapse in judgment, an error in judgment. The market proved me wrong, and I acted accordingly, and I'm out. Next, I want to look at Palantir. Palantir, I got in at this nice little candle here, this reversal candle on the 4-hour chart, and we really did nothing all week. I'm hoping to see Palantir start to recover this week. I am in this position as a swing trade, and we'll see what it does. There's a new position that I put on the end of last week in Tapestry. And what I liked about Tapestry was that Tapestry's been in a nice little trend here. Ever since it found this bottom here in August, it's been on this nice little uptrend. And it came up, we had a little bit of corrective activity around earnings, and it's been going north again since earnings. And it's trending upward in a positive direction. So I went into calls here, and I'll be looking at that this next week to see if these calls can stay in profit. And if it does, then I'll just ride this trend. So I got long calls here, and we're heading with a good positive price migration, and hopefully that can continue next week. The next one I want to highlight is UNH. This is United Health Group. And I stayed away from this for a long time. As you know, well, all the history with UNH, and we can just take you through a little bit of what's been going on here. But I think right in here is where I guess Buffett bought in. And so we were coming down, and then Buffett came in right in this area here. And that was nice. But it really, other than that news coming out and the stock gapping up, it's just been going sideways. And we had a little bit of momentum here. And so I came in with long calls here, and this was last week. And we're starting to gain some value. And so I'm still long calls in UNH. I'm going to be playing this probably for the next couple weeks. I will be patient with the trade and look to take profits as this trade and trend continues to establish itself. I'm hoping and I think that this might be the start of a new trend higher. Price will tell me the truth, and we'll see if I'm rewarded for that trade or not. Finally, we'll look at oil, and oil is just not my friend. I was in USO, and it kind of looks like we were going to cross up here and keep going north, and we had a couple gaps down. I don't have a large position in this trade, but it is something that I'm watching very closely. If we look and see what the oil futures are doing right now, it looks like they are rebounding a little bit. It's up 0.15 of 1%. And, we'll just kind of see what happens here. These are 4-hour candles. So this is kind of how last week ended. And we'll see if we get back to baseline on this trade. If not, it'll be one of the first trades that I look to cut going into the week. So here's one more look at USO. So those are the things that we're looking at right now for this week. This is back to the E-mini futures currently trading, and we are up 0.15 of 1% early in trading. Let's quickly look at gold. This is the gold spot futures. We're also positive. Silver futures are down on the evening. So those are the things I'm looking at this week. Real quick, we'll go over the Kinfo. So last week, here we are here. Last week, I made $71,550 roughly in profit. And that wasn't bad. I was pretty happy with that. Had some nice trades, had a 61.9% win percentage. And my average gain on each trade was about $3,400. So not a bad week. Looking forward to continuing that. As usual, all my trades are verified on Kinfo. You can go look at that if you'd like. And that's all I've got for today. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know if you enjoyed the video, if you found the content useful at all. And please like and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, happy trading.